Today we have a show where we're celebrating the life of one of the most fun-loving people I've ever known. Wild Bill Holzapfel. Bill was a great friend of Lunkerville and of mine, so I wanted to do a special show to honor him and his love for fishing. Let's go to Lunkerville.
It seems in every town in America that there's a secret fishing spot where the water runs clear and the bass are always biting. And at that spot, there's an unsung hero who knows every stump, laydown, and lily pad. Seems all he's got to do is wet a line. And sure enough, he's reeling in a big bass. So if you're looking for real people with real fish stories, then hop a ride. We're going to Lunkerville.
Welcome to the first NewYorkBass.com buddy tournament, where I'll be fishing with my buddy, Wild Bill. But not before we have some problems. I get a flat tire on the way to the tournament, and then Bill's boat won't start.
It's like the starter's not engaging. You know, it's spinning, but it's not engaging the motor.
Yeah. The glass is half full.
Yeah.
We have lots of fishable water around us. Because when you think about it, we're in a big lake here, and there's got to be fish everywhere, right?
For general purposes, yes.
They didn't just move out of here, so why not just take this cove and see if we can get a pattern going?
A little mechanical problem for Mike with the tire. Now I'm having some mechanical problems with the boat. Yippee-yi-yo-ki-yay. But we're gonna go and see if we can catch some fish. Let it cool down a little bit. I think I just might have overheated the winding of the motor. Never had a problem before, but it's always game day when you have the problems.
So we're fishing today with Wild Bill. You probably know him from the Lunkerville forums. He's a moderator there. We also featured him last year on a show with Dr. Destructo. It was a good show up on Lake Saranac. And where are we today, Bill?
We're on Candlewood Lake, which is just north of Danbury, Connecticut. And it's the biggest lake one of the bigger lakes in Connecticut. It's definitely the deepest lake in Connecticut. It's lined with houses. It's very clear water. It's basically a smallmouth fishery. It does have good populations of largemouth, but predominantly there's more smallmouth. And a lot of guys that fish the tournaments here will try to fill a bag with smallmouths and then go for the bigger largemouths.
We've been here before. We were here with Jason Kuda, with Terry Baxay, and I think one other time we were here. I can't remember with who. Oh, with Gary M. from Yonkers. So we're kind of familiar. We've caught some good fish here. And we're here today at the first New York Bass Buddy Tournament. New York Bass is another website that I run for New York bass fishermen. And we just decided to get the tournament guys and the recreational fishermen together, fishing together, so that the rec guys can get a little taste of the tournament fishing, and the tournament guys could, give a few tips to the rec guys. So this should be interesting.
Yeah, it'll definitely be a fun day. It's a mix of two different worlds, guys that are used to fishing under time and pressure and not being able to pick the times that they fish, but having to answer to the bell when the tourney's on, and as opposed to guys that are fishing the reservoirs and fun anglers as opposed to competitive anglers. And we've got that mix today, so it'll be interesting to see how it shakes out.
I am watching you. You know something. Well, you guys are featured by default because our motor won't start. So we're staying right here. We'll stay out of your way. We're not competing. We're just annoying. What are you fishing there, Bill?
Well, right now I have a little thing. It's called a Blakemore Roadrunner. It's basically a little spinner with a jig head on it. imitates a little bait fish and get a little bit of flash. You pump it up off the bottom. They see that flash. They think it's a little minnow in the shallows. That's the bait right there. This is a 1/4 ounce bait. It's got I think it's a size 1 blade on it. And it creates a bunch of flash. And you just pump it along, drag it along the bottom and bounce it off structure and cover and hopefully get bit.
Can always count on you to experiment with these funny looking baits. Every time I turn my head, you have some funny looking bait on there. And you catch fish with them, I've seen them. Now, are you a recreational angler or a tournament angler?
I fish for recreation, Mike. I'm a contractor. That's how I make my living. To me,
You have
whether
some nickname though. What's your nickname?
I'm also called the backseat whore on a couple websites. From not having any allegiance to one, say, team partner or anything like that, I've kind of gotten the reputation of being a hoo-ha.
Lunkerville's presented by South Bend. Quality tackle since 1906. Also sponsored by Diet Mountain Dew. Diet tastes better on the mountain. Big Bite Baits, designed to bring the big bite to your line. Sunline, the strength to guarantee your confidence. Spro, America's best anglers designing the world's finest fishing tackle. BassResource.com, the ultimate bass fishing resource guide.
Welcome back, folks. Let's see what Mike's up to.
Whoa, what? Hold on, Bill. You're not gonna spark this up.
No, it's not something from the 60s, Mike.
No, what is that?
This is actually a fishing tool. It's developed by a friend of mine named Bill M. It's called the Bill M Wacky Tool Rig. Senkos are very, very soft. And if you wacky rig them, you put in the hook right through the center here. And after a few casts or 1 or 2 fish, that'll tear out and you lose your Senko, which costs about 60 cents a pop. By putting the Senko into the tool, sliding an O-ring up into the middle, you now got the O-ring in the middle of the wacky. You put your hook under this, give me your rod for a second, I'll show you how to rig it, Mike. And it'll cut way down on the use of the Senkos.
Well, that's interesting because the O-ring's a great idea because you put that hook through the Senko and it tears it right up.
So what you do is, you put the O-ring onto it and you take the hook out of your finger, but you just slide the hook under the O-ring like that.
Oh yeah.
You get nice action to it. The O-ring holds it in place. Your hook point's nice and exposed. It's not buried in the plastic. When fish bite that, they're as good as hooked almost, and you just give them a little pop, and that sets them.
And that tool, it puts it on real easy. Without that tool, it'd be tough to get it on there. How do you get on there without the tool? You just kind of gotta work it.
Yeah, you'd be working it up and working it up.
Yeah.
It takes a long time, and the other thing is you end up ripping a couple Senkos just putting the thing on without the tool. But it works real well and really cuts down the number of Senkos that you use in a day. The fish have been non-bituminous this morning.
Fish. He's lazy.
Looks like a rock bass, Mike.
Yeah, that's all right.
Yeah, a little tug on the line.
They're stars of Lunkerville. Rocky.
They're a little aggressive little fish.
I like them. The red eye. Look at that.
Well, you got the skunk out of the boat. How's that Senko doing?
Sure, it's good. Good.
Still good.
It's unmolested.
And I work hard all week, and the crazy environment, sometimes it's just nice to come out and mellow out. And yeah, it'd be nice if the fish are biting, but I'm still enjoying myself. I mean, you got beautiful scenery. We're here in a beautiful country. It's just gorgeous and nice sunny day, no rain. I'm sitting here in short sleeve shirts, as crazy as that may sound, and I don't know, maybe
Yeah, I was just thinking, why? I'm here, I have 3 shirts and a jacket, and you have this short sleeve shirt.
I'm manly, Mike.
Manly. Bill's my type of fisherman.
Mike,
You know, I really like just being out there and catching some fish and being out, in the sun, and 1 or 2 would be good. I got 1. I have the only fish so far, Bill.
Okay, if you want to count that one, Mike.
I count rock bass.
Okay.
We're here with Wild Bill. You know him. He's a Lunkerville regular, and he's got a quick tip for us. What do you got here, Bill?
This is an Arbogast jitterbug. It's been around forever. Well, maybe not forever, but longer than I have been. I've been fishing since 1960. Arbogast Jitterbug was my first lure ever. It's a topwater lure. It's got this cup-lipped action. You throw this out nighttime, evening, low light conditions, and bring it back just nice and steadily, and it'll do that on the water. And it's actually going to sound like an old wooden Chris Crab. You're going to hear blah, 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 blah. It creates a total surface disturbance, making a wake. Fish contract that wake, and they come up and crush it. Now, one thing I got to say that's bad about this lure is it has very cheap hooks on it. And I find that if you switch out the hooks, which only takes a minute, you'll get twice as many fish. You'll hook up so much better with sharper points. This one has a white belly. It'll work good in the daytime, but at nighttime, they fish their best. Black is the color to use. I have one that I've had 30 years easily. I call the lure Old Black Magic because it puts the mojo on the fish. It just has a magical power to them. And
so you haven't had to buy another lure in that long? You
it
kept that
floats.
one?
It floats.
And it floats.
Even if you break your line off,
Oh.
it's going to float. I've hung Old Black Magic up in trees and actually gotten a pole saw and gotten back the next day and cut it out of trees. I was sick that I hung this lure. You can replace it, but just some lures work better than others. And this one, it's a lure I'd highly recommend for a novice or even a pro.
Thanks for the tip, man.
Why, welcome.
Good job.
This segment of Lunkerville is brought to you by Big Bite Baits. Great lures at great prices.
What's up with this rod, Bill? I notice there's no cork here at the bottom. That adds better sensitivity?
That's exactly the point, Mike. It's all about balance of a rod. You want a rod to balance in your hand so that when you're holding it, it's going to balance naturally and you're not going to be nose heavy or tail heavy. And by having that balance in the rod, it makes it much more sensitive. If you actually notice, you notice that big black thing at the bottom of the handle? Mm-hmm. Inside of that, they're actually counterbalancing weights to perfectly get that balance in there. And by eliminating some of the cork, which really doesn't help anything, and putting the weight in as you feel it needed to counterbalance the weight of your reel and the nose tip, it really almost makes it feel like there's no weight in your hand at all.
It's Marty and John, and they have a fish. They're definitely winning. I'm sure of it. Because there's nothing here. There are no fish here. They caught the only fish. Marty has a clue to maybe how to fix the engine. So he says tap on it with a hammer. Marty does. They call him the Lunker Boss.
All right, hang on.
Oh.
Advance your throttle a little bit, choke it a little bit.
Oh, yeah, baby.
Oh, you guys are the boss.
Ah, the sweet
Thank
sound.
you. Appreciate it, buddy.
Very nice, impressive. Thanks, guys.
It's a good fish.
Oh, yeah. Largemouth.
Wacky Senko.
Nice.
Should we well it or not?
No.
About a 2-pound largemouth? Got that?
Beauty. Nice job. Okay. There.
We got the skunk out of the boat. Yeah, we'll make it look real big. That's what it's all about. So we've been waiting all day for.
We gotta fix your microphone. Did it fall off again?
Well, we finally caught a fish. But the mishaps kept happening. There was another boat that needed a tow, and of course Bill was gonna help him out. So we towed him back to the launch. But while we were towing them, Bill's motor started to make a funny little clanking noise, and it ended up that he blew out his lower unit. What is going on today? We have to interrupt this programming to give you a very important message from Lunkerville. Have you ever watched a fishing show and you think, I can do that? You're watching me fish with people that look just like you, just like your friends. So why can't you be on the show? You can. Do it. This is how. I'm going to tell you right now. Go to our Facebook page, facebook.com/Lunkerville. Interact with other people there. Submit a video of you fishing. We especially like videos of tips. Yeah, you can just go in your backyard or your basement or your living room, turn on the video camera and record a tip. One of those little tips or tactics that you think are interesting, that have helped you with your fishing. Because my philosophy is anyone who has a passion for fishing has something to teach me. So teach me already. What are you waiting for? Welcome back to a special show celebrating the life of Lunkerville's good friend, Wild Bill Holzapfel. Bill was a generous man who got a lot of satisfaction from helping the elderly, teaching kids how to fish, holding yearly tournaments to benefit cancer research, and most memorably for me, his yearly get-together at Saranac Lake in the Adirondacks. Everyone and anyone was invited. It was all about the fun. And I was fortunate enough to tag along with Bill and his friend Dr. Destructo a few years back at what Bill called the North Country Roundup.
Well, we're off to a tough start today. We barely got out of the launch, and we stopped at the first spot to fish, and Lance got up on the pedestal seat, and we heard a splush, and unfortunately it wasn't a rise of a fish. However, it was Lance's electronics that Mike has provided for us today.
The
so
wireless transmitter.
It went overboard, so we had to make a visit back to the dock to get another wireless transmitter for Lance. So Dr. Destructo, please, let's keep everything
I'll do
in the
my
boat.
best.
You're living up to your name.
Yeah, unfortunately, that's not a good thing.
That's a bass bed?
Yes. Typical spot right in the crotch between two trees in a protected area. This is where you're typically going to find a bed. Very protected on both sides, deep water on the third side. But there's no fish in it.
I got a fish here on, and it looks like a little smallmouth probably. Or is it my perch jerking? Still no, I'll take the Small Fish of the Day award for this one. I hope you're not going to show this one, but well, we do get rats up here too. So
What is it?
it's geez, let me hold it up to the camera here for you. It might have to get a little closer to get any size to it. It's about a 5 or 6 inch smallmouth bass, and we're going to let that one go. You know, that's fishing. You don't know what you're going to catch, and all you can do is throw the lure and see what happens. And well, I got to run. But that's fishing, and it's certainly better than being in the office.
And what do you do?
I'm a general contractor. I do home improvements, a lot of handyman type work. It gives me a great source of pleasure doing what I do. I try to treat my clients the way I'd want to treat my mother in her house, and I gain a lot of friends through it. It's more than just a job to me. Junior's coming out to visit us here, and he's over a big weed bed. If a pike don't come up and hit that, for a 10-pound largemouth, I'd be surprised. I'm gonna flip my bait right below it, because there's bound to be a big fish right there. That's 10-pounder bait if there ever was one.
Oh no, little guy.
And he seems to think we're gonna feed him or something, but Mama Duckling over there is getting pretty upset that Junior's out here visiting us. Oh, this is a good fish. This is a good fish. See if we can get this one in the boat. This would be a nice one. Looks like a big smallmouth, about 2 or 3 pounder.
Oh yeah, that's a solid fish.
Try not to get stuck myself. Come on. Ouch.
You getting all this, Mike?
Oh yeah.
There we go.
Here we go. Here's a nice bronze back on the hookers. There you can see the rattling insert head I was talking about. 1/8 ounce head, I think that's a 3/0 hook, 4-inch Black Widow tube, green pumpkin, red flake. Put it all together, find some nice weed, and you get some Adirondack browns. Yeah, it's been a tough day out here on Upper Saranac. It's weather's been a little weird today. I think that's affected the bite, and wasn't the fishing I was expecting to get, but I have something working right now. I missed him, but
Oh man, that grub, they just come right after.
it just happens, and sometimes you miss them, sometimes you don't, but it was a great day fishing, and be sure to tune in next week to Lunkerville.
Sometimes it's not until a person's gone until you realize how important they were to you and what kind of impact they had on your life. Bill used to call Saranac Lake the closest place to heaven. Bill passed away at the last North Country Roundup. He wanted to stay a few extra days to fish at the place he loved. But one evening, when he failed to return to the cabin, his brother Fred went out to look for him. He found him on his boat with a fishing rod in one hand and the trolling motor rope in the other. And although Bill passed away too young, his good and giving nature and young and carefree spirit will continue with the many people he touched. So to Wild Bill, thank you. We'll see you soon, buddy.